call to the booth. Aqib Talib here. The Broncos off to a 2-0 start. Courtland Sutton is back. Patrick Surtain is on the board. Paul, drop that beat.
The Broncos 2-0 right now, could be 3-0 by the end of the weekend with their first game back in the stadium with fans. First real game, that is, against the New York Jets. I'm Harrison Sanford. That's Aqib Talib. We're going to talk about that matchup against the Jets. We're going to talk about Courtland Sutton's big-time performance last week in Week 2. And, of course, it's not all good. There are some injuries. But before we get to that, Aqib, in honor of the Broncos playing their first home game in front of fans in a year, can you take us back to one of your most memorable fan interactions back when you're back in your Broncos days?
When you say that, the first one come to mind is playoff time, man. That AFC Championship game, man. I swear, we never heard the chant before, but in the AFC Championship game, that defense, defense, man. That moment right there was like no other. So that definitely was one of my favorite crowd moments when I was in Denver.
And for sure, Courtland Sutton's going to get a lot of cheers and raves this weekend going against the New York Jets, as long as Teddy Bridgewater finds him, which we think is a high possibility after what he did in Week 2. And that's more than likely why he's our Bronco of the week.
Definitely the Bronco of the week. Courtland Sutton, 9 catches. What he had, 159 yards. Super good game for him, man. Look healthy. You can see him get off the ground a little bit, and he's still not 100%. When he get 100%, man, you really going to see him get off that ground. But to be Week 2, Courtland Sutton looking like this, man, I'm proud of him, man. Great rehab, great offseason. Teddy Bridgewater getting him the football. It looked good.
Now, some of that credit could go to the Jaguars' defense, and you're actually going to be calling that game between the Cardinals and the Jaguars. So we'll actually talk about that in our other shows this week on Call to the Booth. Make sure you follow us at Call to the Booth on social media. But at the same time as well, looking at that, if you look at the matchups that he had, and now you look ahead to what he has against the Jets, that's a weak secondary. It looks like he can do it again.
He should be able to do it again. Start with that run. They get the running the ball, then that play action had guys running free down the field. So he should be able to do it again, man. They ain't stopped nobody. They won't stop the Broncos neither. Also,
big shout out to Pat Surtain, former guest, getting his first interception last week against a rookie quarterback in Trevor Lawrence.
Get on the board, baby.
And would not be surprised if he gets another one against Zach Wilson after Zach Wilson's interception-filled performance against the New England Patriots. But before we talk about that and what could happen in that matchup a little bit more, let's go to the actual state of the Broncos, because, yes, it's all well right now. 2-0, but that schedule coming up is going to be brutal. We'll talk about that in the next segment. And there are some injuries piling up for this team, even though somebody like Courtland Sutton is back and looking healthy. Obviously, we know about Jerry Jeudy. Josie Jewell out for the season with the torn pec. Ronald Darby, part of the reason why Pat Surtain got that interception, more playing time. Ronald Darby with that hamstring issue on the IR for at least 3 weeks. And now Bradley Chubb, there is no timetable for his return. And a level of 1 to 10, 10 being the most concerned, the most worried, where are you as it pertains to the injuries to this team right now?
Well, you're definitely going to miss Josie Jewell. Always around the football, man. You see him, even on special teams, he's making plays, man. So you're definitely going to miss him. But they got young guys they could plug in, man. That's so I say I'm at about a level 3, man. I'm not too concerned. It's football season. Guys going to get banged up, but we all right now.
For sure. And Malik Reed led the team last year in sacks with 8. So it looks like he could definitely fill in. And when we come back, they're double-digit favorites against the Jets. Aqib is going to tell us which running back does he want in fantasy football. This is Call to the Booth. And let's talk about that game that you're calling this weekend in Florida. Arizona taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as I watched that game last weekend, as we've watched Kyler Murray so far since late last year, after, particularly right before the injury, he's looking like an MVP candidate. He's controlling the entirety of the offense. Him and Josh Allen are pretty much the only quarterbacks you really see going 4 wide out. And with the way that their defense is set up, where the Buffalo Bills have a very strong defense, particularly in that secondary, we're not seeing the same strength for the Arizona Cardinals defense. It seems as if they keep this pace, he has to be MVP. And right now, he's plus 500, tied with Patrick Mahomes to win that honor. What do you think?
Man, he definitely put his name in the runnings with them 2 early performances. But like you said, it's just dominant, man. He dominates the game when they need a score. And he get in attack mode, man, it's almost impossible to stop him, man. So if he keep this pace up, man, it's going to be hard not to give him the MVP, honestly.
So I want to also take a look at some other potential MVPs as well as we look at some other betting odds. So right now we also see that Derek Carr is 20-1. Tom Brady 7-1. Matt Stafford 10-1. Russell Wilson 13-1. Derek Carr is featured in your power rankings. They're actually listed in right here as I see at number 3 this week. Tell if you were gonna put, it's 20-1, so decent odds to make some money on it. Would you throw out a little change on it?
You might as well, right? I mean, if you get paid 20-1, I mean, you throw $200 down. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna come out well. You feel me? So it's your reward is so high. You might as well, and how they playing right now, you might as well place that bet, man. If they stay healthy, they probably gonna continue to play like this, man. Derek Carr has been improving. I feel like with a bunch of different coaches, I feel like he's always getting better. I think they might have it figured out right now, man. They got the right group of weapons. He got good speed on the field, man. He throwing it around. He's slanging it downfield. 20-1, man, I might go and put me 1,000 on it. You know what I'm saying? Just to, if I hit, I hit. If I don't, oh well.
Charge it to the game.
Charge it to the game. But if you hit, though, 20,000 up. You know what I'm saying? Charge that to the game.
There you go. That's a good point. It's definitely something to think about the way they're playing. But the Broncos spent their second-round pick on Javonte Williams. He's been very reliable so far in the backfield alongside Melvin Gordon. Back with more call to the booth. Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib. We're going to talk about that backfield in a bit in this segment. But before we do that, let's take a whole look at that AFC West. The Chiefs lost this past week to the Ravens. The Chargers lost as well to the Dallas Cowboys. And how about those Las Vegas Raiders, now 2-0 with wins over the Ravens and the Steelers? Aqib, should Broncos fans start really monitoring what the Vegas Raiders are doing?
Not a 2-0. 2 big wins, like you said. They definitely better check the Raiders out, man. Them it's not fluke. You don't just go beat two dominant AFC North opponents like that, man. So them 2 big games, one home, one on the road. So it's real. You better watch out for them Raiders. Carr's playing some good football right now. Derek Carr playing some good football right now.
Quick pick. Chargers versus Kansas City. Chargers on the road.
I'm around with the Chiefs. It's hard to not pick the Chiefs. But the Chargers do pull up and play well in Kansas City against the Chiefs all the time. So it should be a good game. We talking spread, I still might ride with the Chiefs. I think that win by 7 and spread like 6.5. I'm going to ride with the Chiefs.
Tyrann Mathieu came on the show last year and told us about how impressed he was with Justin Herbert. We'll see what he can do here in week 3. Let's focus then on the Broncos, though, and their actual opponent, not just their division. It looks like another easy win, to be honest with you, Aqib. And you know secondaries as well as anybody else who played in the league. This Jets secondary seems like prime picking for Teddy Bridgewater to have another standout performance. It would seem.
Well, yeah, they struggling, man. They struggling. A lot of guys running free against this secondary. So the Broncos, they've been in a nice rhythm, man, starting in the preseason, and it's kind of carrying over. So they keep doing what they doing, man. They in a nice little flow calling plays. So it should be a good one. I see Teddy having a day at home.
And we've been talking about betting on this show for a bit. And we did talk about Patrick Surtain's opportunity to win Defensive Player of the Year. Hey, listen, not a better time to get another interception going against Zach Wilson.
Hey, they say they come in bunches.
I'm sure you remember the times when you're going against a rookie quarterback. Turnovers have to be on the mind for this Broncos defense this weekend?
Definitely, man. You said turnover goals every game, right? But guys just believe them a little bit more when you play against rookie quarterbacks. You know those guys going to make mistakes. The Broncos defense, they got some stuff drawn up. They're going to put some pressure on them, of course. You know Von licking his chops, man. You see a young guy, you want to try to make him do too much, right? You want to make him continue to make mistakes like he's already had. So they got it out for him, man. They definitely is setting up some plays where they put a lot of pressure on him. So it's definitely in the game plan.
Real quick before we go, who do you like better this week, Javonte Williams or Melvin Gordon at the running back position?
I'm going to go Melvin, man. He got the tubs right now. I think when they get in the red zone, they kind of respect the vets, man. They get in the red zone, Melvin is in there. You know what I'm saying? So he get a lot of the red zone touches. So I'm going to go Melvin. He going to get the tubs.
Broncos open as 11-point favorites. Are you taking them with that margin of victory?
11 points is a lot, man. I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to be honest.
And their next 4 games versus Baltimore, at the Pittsburgh Steelers, versus Las Vegas, at the Cleveland Browns. It would seem that this would be like almost a must-win if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. Obviously, you can still win later on the season, but this would be a very pivotal game to keeping that hope alive, I would assume, Aqib.
I wouldn't call it must-win now, Harrison. We ain't going to must-win in week 3. Not already, right? But the next 4 games is challenging part of your schedule. So going into a month like that, them 4 games, you would love to be 3-0. So this is one of the games that you need to take care of in order to be 3-0 going into that crazy part of your schedule. That's going to be tough, Harrison. Crazy road games, good running teams, some physical games coming in a row. So you want to be 3-0 going into that. I wouldn't say must win just yet, though.
When we come back next week, we'll look ahead to that brutal 4-game stretch that Aqib was just talking about. Ravens, Steelers, Raiders, and the Cleveland Browns. Tough matchups coming ahead. We'll look forward to breaking it all down right here on Call to the Booth. I'm Harrison Sanford. That's Aqib Talib. We'll see you next time.